like clock. I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright guys, I want to talk about the age of Shinobi potentially being over. Now, if you guys don't necessarily remember, in the first scene of the Boruto anime and the first scene of the Boruto manga, there was this 1 minute clip, or like this short clip of actual Team Kawaki and Team Boruto talking amongst themselves, obviously before they do actually fight. Now, ever since then, we've basically been trying to decode these hieroglyphics and figure out exactly what they're talking about. Now, one of the first things that we did here is that the age of the Shinobi is over. We heard that from both Kawaki and Boruto. Both of them uttered it, even though Boruto himself said that he was still a shinobi, or he was still a quote-unquote ninja. We still understand at that particular point, it seemed like the age of Shinobi is actually over. And now we have an idea of exactly why the age of Shinobi in the future can possibly be over. Now, in the past couple of chapters of the Boruto manga, we basically understood that the Boruto Big Bad organization, the Kado organization, has pretty much been made up of modified human beings, or if not modified human beings, flat out cyborgs. Now, it seems like in this particular situation, there are going to be even more cyborgs that are actually potentially stronger than Jigen himself. Obviously, we know Jigen is one of the more strong characters in the whole Boruto series. I think because of that, now we have a situation where there is an actual threat to Shinobis, because cyborgs are just so absolutely overpowered. And in my opinion, I definitely do think it's a very good case that the reason why Kawaki and Boruto are agreeing that the age of Shinobis are actually over is definitely because of the appearance of the cyborgs. Now, to this point, we don't even really know if it's going to be a bad or a good thing. It could possibly be a very good thing. One of the reasons why I say it could possibly be a very good thing is if, of course, if the good guys are able to get altered by scientific technology and then become cyborgs. One thing that we do understand is that cyborgs don't necessarily discriminate. A lot of people can actually become cyborgs. The only thing that is really the downside to becoming a cyborg is, of course, the actual modification process. If you guys do recall, back when we did kind of get to see a little bit of a flashback when Kawaki and Gaara was actually modified, it seemed like a lot of them were actually messed up after they were really modified. So of course, let's say, you know, you get a handful of Jonins from the Hidden Leaf Village, like, hey, Konohamaru, Shikamaru, and of course, say Sai. One of those three is probably going to come out messed up. Just for the sake of this argument, let's say Konohamaru is probably going to come out messed up, and he's probably going to have the peg leg or something like that after the modification process. But on the other hand, you have Sai and Shikamaru basically with otsutsuki level speed, otsutsuki level taijutsu, and chakra reserves also are god level as well. I personally think that there will definitely be a very good thing, not only for the Hidden Leaf Village, but also for everybody. But of course, because this topic was brought up in such a grim situation, Kawaki and Boruto are literally standing in a destroyed Hidden Leaf Village, it does make us think that this right here is definitely going to be a bad thing. Now, here's the thing. I believe that Boruto is probably going to be able to survive without becoming a quote-unquote modified human being or a cyborg, just because of the sheer fact that he does have the Karma Seal. Now, as of right now, we don't even really know how strong Boruto can actually get with the Karma Seal, but in my opinion, I think that could definitely get him up until an otsutsuki level. And of course, because of that, Boruto would then be able to hold his own against these cyborgs that are actually potentially as strong or even stronger than Jigen himself. But it's still just very ominous that the word, and of course the way of life that all of the Naruto fans really grew up watching, that age is actually going to be over, which is going to be a very sad scene. Now, I'm not necessarily going to be completely sure if this is actually going to be 100% correct, because of course these are just Kawaki and Boruto talking amongst themselves. There could possibly be, you know, a whole bunch of other Shinobis out there, that a whole bunch of other Shinobis that are possibly going to take back over. And to be honest, we're not 100% sure that the cyborgs are going to be the reason why the age of Shinobi is going to be over. This is just my opinion. But for the sake of this video, let's just say that this is actually going to be the case. Because we know the character of Kawaki, because we understand that Kawaki is not necessarily inherently a bad person, he's definitely a savage, don't get me wrong. He's definitely a lot less caring than Boruto and everybody else that we do know of. But because we understand that Kawaki is a very good person, I'm pretty sure there's a good reason why the age of Shinobi is actually going to be over. Now, of course, definitely difficult to basically comprehend, because they are standing in a destroyed Hidden Leaf Village, and it seems like Kawaki is the one that destroyed the Hidden Leaf Village. But stay with me. I think this right here could definitely be good for actually challenging Otsutsuki members. We understand that there are potentially dozens or even hundreds of other Otsutsuki members out there. If these Otsutsuki members come to Earth with Naruto and Sasuke being nerfed, I feel like the cyborgs could definitely be a no-brainer way to actually protect the Hidden Leaf Village and pretty much everybody on Earth from Otsutsuki members basically coming down and planting another god tree on Earth. And of course, you can't really rule out Kawaki potentially being the quote-unquote the child of prophecy. Now, of course, you understand that it's 99% Naruto who is actually the child of prophecy, who pretty much ended all the conflicts between the 5 great nations. But of course, Kawaki could take on that ideology of being the quote-unquote child of prophecy, doing what Naruto couldn't necessarily do. We understand as of right now, Naruto didn't really bring peace to all Shinobis. Of course, in regards to the 5 major nations, they are peaceful, but everybody else, it doesn't necessarily seem like they're the most peaceful people. And we've seen that when the Kado organization was pretty much introduced for the first time. Sasuke and Sai went back to the Hidden Rain village, and it really looked like there wasn't much peace there. And not only that, Team 7 visited a lot of other small nations, and those nations right there didn't seem like they were the most peaceful as well. In Kawaki's mind, you know, hypothetically, if this is the situation that he was going for, Kawaki might actually be thinking that Shinobis can't ever really come to peace. He might be thinking the only way to achieve true peace is to actually end the Shinobis. And of course, because of that, Cyborgs would then take over, and of course, only the truly good people would have the power of the Cyborg. But I definitely found this super interesting that now we possibly have a reason why the quote-unquote age of Shinobi is actually over. It's because these Cyborgs are just so damn strong, and of course, they could possibly do a lot of things that could possibly aid a lot of people. But I do know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and of course there is still a bunch of hieroglyphics that we do have to decode about that first scene of the Boruto anime. For example, Kawaki telling Boruto he'll send Boruto where he sent the 7th, and of course Boruto telling Kawaki like, hey, was this really inevitable? And not only that, Boruto telling Kawaki that he didn't think he'd come this far. It's definitely a whole bunch of things that we do have to figure out, but of course, as I said, this right here seems like it's coming together. Let me know what you guys think. It's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.